Okay, so I had this thing all boxed up, and then I realized I forgot to make a video describing what's going to happen, or in particular what I'm going to send out for reproduction. So just to recap, when I got this A&L prototype car, it came with two sister cars that were not completely assembled, but it had certainly enough parts to make another car. So what I decided to do, and I spoke with Jeff about this too, we agreed to keep this one in one piece because this is the original prototype car that was raced. I will, be cleaning this up, and I'll do a whole series on that at the appropriate time. But for the parts that I would send out to get reproduced, they would be from one of the sister cars. So this is one of the things I'm sending out. It has both of the front and rear arms. It has lower deck, upper deck, all the posts. So basically, I kept it kind of half assembled here, so that way, when Jeff works on all of this, he knows what all the dimensions are for, how tall this needs to be and how thick these posts need to be and so forth. So also has the steering bell crank here. Now the way this bell crank is set up in the sister car, in both sister cars, is a little bit different than how it is in the prototype car that was raced. So you see here, if you look at the steering setup, you have another post here that I guess braces the upper deck, and it does split the left and right bell crank, so they are a little bit more spaced apart than they are here. And you can see that this portion of the upper deck isn't quite far enough forward to basically line up with the steering rack. Okay, so there is a geometric difference there, and that's partly to do with the fact that the length of this upper deck here is actually longer than it is on the let's say the original car, the prototype car. I didn't measure the exact length, but if you take, for example, this upper deck here, that's from the other sister car, and you overlay this with this upper deck, you will see that there is a bit of an offset here. So chances are the wheelbase is a bit longer on this car. So that's just something we will have to deal with. It's basically a sister car reproduction. I'm also going to give him, or send to him for use, the front bulkhead. This is actually a split Losi GRX2 bulkhead. It was sawed or cut down and reduced in width. So that way, he can try to maybe make this one part as a singular bulkhead. Perhaps, I'm not sure. And then in the rear here, we have, the top brace for the gearbox, plus the motor guard. I have a flat version of this that is unbent that I'll be sending out. That's in this bag here. Also in this bag is the front tower, two pairs of rear shock towers, because one of them has no holes cut in it, and the other one has some holes cut in it for the camber link mounting positions. Also the top battery brace that would go in here, that's getting sent out. So all of the appropriate plate parts that would be reproduced. And again, I also I'm including the rear bulkhead and the rear arm mount here just for reference. So all of the holes that are drilled onto the lower deck here, and this goes for all three chassis, are specific to the parts used for the bulkhead, the gearbox, and the rear arm mount. So this bulkhead is from a Kyosho Optima, and sorry, not Optima, Kyosho Ultima, an original Kyosho Ultima, which is in some ways good for the year 2022 because you can get reproduced Kyosho Ultima bulkheads for relatively cheap. This rear arm mount is from a Kyosho Triumph. Those are harder to find, but it seems like a simple enough part that you could probably make an alloy block that, to sort of replicate this your arm mount. So that's probably not too big a deal. The bulkhead, maybe we should figure out if we want to continue to use the Ultima bulkhead, or maybe reconfigure this to take more of like an RC10 style rear bulkhead. But then that would probably change a bunch of other things. And of course, there's also the question about, you know, whether how adaptable do we really want to make this chassis? Should we make it strictly a pure A&L chassis so that only the Lethal Weapon gearbox mounts to the back of the chassis, or should there be, you know, other holes or other options of chassis with holes drilled to mount a stealth gearbox? But if you do that, then it's not really an A&L chassis, right? So anyway, this is what's going to get sent out. It will take time. I have no idea how long it'll take, which is also why I'm sending out a sister car rather than the original, so that I can work on this while Jeff is working on this. So yeah, I just figured I'd keep you guys updated on what's going on with this particular chassis set. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.